U.S. media is reporting at least 5 people are unwell. One is his chief of staff, Mark Short, who is now in isolation. Despite that, Mike Pence is planning to continue campaigning around the country. He and his wife are reportedly in good health and tested negative on Saturday. Although his decision not to self-isolate has also attracted its fair share of criticism.
This week alone, nationally, we are breaking records for the number of people that are contracting a deadly virus. And this administration fails to take personal responsibility or responsibility in terms of leading the nation through this dangerous and deadly mass casualty event.
Well, Democrat Joe Biden continues to lead in national polls with just 9 days to go until the election, but the race is much closer in several important swing states. Andy Gallagher is live for us in Miami now, so I suppose time is running out for President Trump to try and gain ground in the polls. What about how close are the figures in some of these battleground states?
Well, I think essentially at this late stage, it may be all about the battleground states. Here in Florida, the last poll I saw had Joe Biden 4 points ahead of Donald Trump, but the margin of error is about the same. Remember, there are 29 electoral college votes here. This is a must-win state for President Donald Trump, so he needs to really claw back as much support as he can. Joe Biden has taken the day off today. He went to church. Kamala Harris, who you just heard from, is in Michigan. Mike Pence, despite all those close aides contracting the COVID virus, is in North Carolina, where President Trump was a few days ago. And President Trump himself is in New England, in New Hampshire and Maine. So this is a last-minute rush towards the finish line with just a few days to go. But the messaging isn't essentially changing. You've got the Democratic candidates, Biden and Harris, saying, look, Trump messed this up. There are record numbers of cases on Friday and Saturday, both over 80,000 cases, and hospitalizations rising in about 30 states. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump continues to talk about this nation turning a corner and that vaccines will be available soon. And I think yesterday he even said, look, come November the 4th, nobody will even be talking about this. So I think if you look at the national polls, that is one thing. If you look at the battleground states like here in Florida, that's an entirely different matter. It may come down to those battleground states who becomes the president, whether Trump gets another 4 years or whether Biden wins. So this furious pace, I think, will continue right up to Election Day.
All right. Thanks very much, Andy Gallagher, with all the latest there. Thanks. Well, Donald Trump's win 4 years ago was partly down to a key group of voters, white suburban women. But as he bids for another term in office, it's looking less likely that he has what it takes to secure their votes this time round. Rosalind Jordan has this story.
It's the first rule of running for office. Ask the people for their vote. But begging for support this close to Election Day? That might be a sign of desperation.
Suburban women, will you please like me? Remember? Please. I saved your damn neighborhood, okay?
Donald Trump's campaign is faced with a problem. Polls say the president is losing a key part of his base, suburban white women voters, to his Democratic rival Joe Biden. In a recent Washington Post poll, 62% said they were planning to vote for Biden versus just 34% for Trump.
You know, instead of just being a candidate and having the candidate's record to run on, we have 4 years of a Trump record. These women, I think, largely view as a failure on a number of levels. And I think that's going to kind of encourage them to show up and make sure we don't have another 4 years of that.
Political experts say in 2016, Republican women overlooked Trump's misogyny because they liked his conservative economic policy. But this year, these voters are alarmed by the collapse of the economy, we won't forget, as well as by Trump's apparent stoking of racial tensions in the country. They say what matters most is the president's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
He has really lost that group of women with their concerns over the coronavirus, the health of their families. Women are more burdened by the child care, by the educational difficulties, by their parents being in situations. So he has lost a lot of this support, and it may make the difference for him.
Women's suffrage was born from a desire to...
The Trump campaign strategy, reminding women that the Republican Party fought for their right to vote 100 years ago.
And with one unified voice, we will vote for freedom.
Joe Biden said he's absolutely...
And resurrecting the party's racially inflammatory law and order message of the 1970s and 1980s.
I'm sorry that there is no one here to answer your emergency call.
If you elected this guy, the suburbs would be overwhelmed with violence and crime.
Meantime, Biden supporters see their chance to win over Republican women.
We want you to grow up proud and strong in an America that believes in you.
And to a return to civil political discourse.
They'd fight like hell on the floor, and then they'd go eat lunch together because they always put their friendship and their country first.
The party that's going to win over these moderate voters and these suburban women voters is the party that's able to prove that it's really going to unify the country and help us heal after all the trauma that we've been dealing with for the past 4 years.
The suburban housewife line is getting Donald Trump applause.
You know what women want more than anything else? They want safety, security, and they want to be able to have their houses and leave me alone, right?
Whether that applause translates into votes for the president won't be known until Election Day.